George. O'Neal goes down. George.
Oh! His strongest, or one of his strongest weapons. Adams clears some space. Lamb falls down. George backs up behind him.
See, up by one. Neither team doing anything. 2 for 9 offensively for the Pels as Paul George.
But then steers that missed shot to Adams. As you said before, the guy who best knows that ball.
By Paul George. He's smooth.
And another steal and deflection by Paul George. And a step back.
6 to go. Grant. George. Here we go. Step back 3.
Oh!
He got it in the quarter. 43 for the game. This ties it right here.
And how about the step back here to get Craig off?
George checked tightly by Ingles again. They had a spirited battle, and at the 3 points
for Joe Ingles. All it takes is a touch out there, and he bumps the body of Paul George.
In there right now, Ken Felton moved this team where they get high percentage moves.
Going to get some help here from Paul George working against James.
Good defense by LeBron.
Throws it out
In basket right along with us. Patrick Patterson is in, a former Toronto Raptor and Houston Rocket. Here's Paul George.
Just because of Gobert's presence. 17 now for PG-13. George.
Is in and keep that perimeter with open opportunities.
Nice move by George. Lays it up and in.
Oklahoma City is _1 in isolation. Crossover by George. Arenas.
Look at this move here by Paul George.
So
Crossover. Little love.
by Anthony is within 4. Teague, the All-Star in 2015, knocks down the free throws. George to the dish from Westbrook. Paul George gets to the rack.
As he just had to focus on that play. And you like the patience, he had the shot, he had the move. Nice little step back by Paul George.
How about Paul George?
Talk about just attack the rim.
George goes right at Graham.
I think Grant got a piece of it. Paul George. Crossover move and a layup
This afternoon.
And they forced him into a couple of tough shots on back-to-back possession. Oh, great move by Paul George.
On just 11 shots. Make that 12 shots. George drives on Covington. Gets inside and finishes.
Evan Turner doing a nice job. However, got collected on the screen. Paul George.
6 threes for him. 32 points for Paul George. Playing it off of Bruce.
I don't know how a guy can wipe another guy out in front of the official.
George strong follow and the block on the rookie Mitchell.
George. You got to be able to play through contact.
Patterson beating George. Oh my. You go because PG-13 was having trouble finding the range. He was 1 of 7. Oh, that's a Statue of Liberty before the flush for.
Is this PG-13? Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Oh. By the way, trivia question, not really a trivia question.
Paul George, 9th season out of Fresno State. All-star again. What a nice Euro step. Takes it in.
2%. Well, he has it cooking tonight. Look at the crossover on Mills. Here's the contact by Rudy Gay. Look at this. Right into the lane. 3 white jerseys around him.
They're starting 3 out of 4. The Mavericks have misfired their last 3 times down the floor. Westbrook Euro stepping into
The shot clock violation.
George has 8 in the quarter. He crosses over, attacks, and scores.
It's been a long time, but he left his mark.
Paul George to step
From Paul George. And that is the end of the first.
Floor is spread. George going to cross over. Carroll.
Paul George connects. Penetration by George. Pirouettes and scores.
At Portland, OKC would be 8 and open at Houston if it loses here to the Grizzlies. George loses McLemore
Tonight, but consistently, he has really shot the basketball extremely well.
Paul George bottled up
on our side.
As Gobert splits both free throws.
Nice spin move by George.
He shot 6 with 8. Paul George upper body strength, just split the two defenders.
George spinning inside, great fake.
Run him 40+ today. Off balance, you get a layup out of it.
First All-Star in a while. George against Robert Covington, great move inside. That's why he's
6-2 on second chances. George spins away from Ingles, gets him on his hip.
The conversation, and I think I think people in LA, if you're living here in LA, your expectations are that this franchise is.
And double teamed already, we still got another quarter.
Yeah, that's a great point. George working against Hart.
I'll tell you, Hart.
Over Hart, yeah. Boy, great.
But this is what he wanted to do.
George takes the screen. Patterson. He attacks. He was looking for
in points off mistakes. We talked about it. We've mentioned it before. Very casual and loose with the basketball. It'll count if it goes.
On the floor now.
You think they know each other? They got him.
Well, actually,
Plays here and capitalizing 4 of 6 with 9 points to Paul George. Slinks to the iron. Nurkic.
Paul George had a good game, scored 26 points, bouncing back from going 1 for 14 against Golden State on Saturday night.
With their injury issues taking on the Thunder.
Actually, I believe he has 5 personal fouls.
Beg your pardon, you are correct, sir.
And that's
Favors with 4.
That's going to keep him on the bench. George for the Jazz. Just keep cashing in.
George attacks him.
George back at that free throw line with a chance for a 3-point play. Took the contact. Man, he
blocker Valanciunas. Nice move by George, absorbing
earlier this season with the right heel bursitis, but he's back, and they're going to need his offense in the playoffs.
Hayward injury to start the game, start the season, then dropped 0-2, have a chance to do something no one has ever done. But Paul,
and see what happens. Here it is.
Oh yeah, well behind it, a couple inches behind. 3 points for Paul.
Still, Grant able to locate that pass up over his head, and then how about the body control here, Reggie?
Oh yeah! George. Nice screen by Patterson, leaving George.
Good on a pair. The Nets lead is 13. Just over a minute to go here in the third quarter.
I like that too.
Nice backdoor pass, and then Vucevic can't finish underneath. Westbrook going to go right at Fournier. He was
much, if any, here. He's got 29 now. Paul George got all the way into the paint.
Fournier on George.
Stempe.
Wow. We'll take that all day long.
Person spot in the starting lineup and in the rotation.
Say what our director Clay Armstrong said, compound. But he's becoming.
Oklahoma City has found something on the offensive end. Paul George with 15. George crosses, challenges Gobert.
And
what Booker did. Absolutely.
Nice hesitation move. George.
And Paul George, just a simple eye contact between the two.
High screen right there. Here comes George into Jokic.
5 in the first half. That's the highest scoring first half of the season for the Thunder with 72.
Dale Davis would not be allowed to shoot that three. No. I mean, Antonio Davis would not have shot that three.
But Dale.
Well, for his size, he's a very nice.
George, the board. Westbrook getting on the deck and causing the turnover. Fantastic hustle. George on the break. Got it.
Saved by Adams. Anthony slow getting up. Right now it's 2-on-4. George takes it in.
Flamethrower after another. George got the screen. Finds the room. Tries inside.
Defense is the players in Ba Mute and trying to play one-on-one. It's not going to work.
George drives, gets bumped, shots up, shots good.
Halfway through the fourth quarter, 10-point deficit, the All-Star George. Had a great 13 points in that.
Lead is 15. George one-on-one with Mitchell, leans in. George was asking for it against Rubio. Adams will get it to him. George, the leader.
From Anthony. The comeback was great there. The comeback that fell short at Utah, that's great. He said, we can work our way back into games. We don't want to play like that.
Floor in this game. George sizing up Mitchell.
I don't think Doc Rivers will be unhappy with that so far. Neither will Billy Donovan.
And that's the thing. It's been consistent. It's been even. George.
Timberwolves play defense for stretches.
George squares up.
George.
Pull up. Balance floor. To extend the lead back to double digits. George splits the double team. Lost the handle on the basketball. He says, you know.
6th steal, and that is the 3rd steal by Russell Westbrook.
Paul George, guarded by Ariza, tough fadeaway.
Separates with that jab step and the step back, and he scores.
That was really good defense.
George, quarterback doing the check downs. George was like his 3rd option. Powell checking George. Stays in front of him nicely, but the
cut. You just keep hitting that area. Attacking that paint is what the Thunder have been doing here so far.
George step back.
I mean, anything he throws in just goes in.
He has been playing like a maestro, especially as he has gotten comfortable.
Right here in the 4th quarter. George. Nice fake on Ingles. George.
City. They only average right around almost 5. But give them a lot of credit. They've been extremely active defensively.
Great ball movement.
The pass by Paul George over the top. You can commit a turnovers. You just saw those 3 white shirts around Paul George, but he doesn't. He lines up another 3, set up their defense. Just run plays. Just, relax, settle into the game, and just play ball.
George with a hard step in.
I mean, wow. He had a hand in his face, shot clock expiring.
Bender allowing
points with 4 rebounds. George will dance final seconds over Oubre. In the 1st quarter. Was it off in time? It looked that way. It felt that way. It is that way. Count it. But it's
or get to the finals, then I think he stays. But if they get a 1st round exit,
up and in. It's George into Butler.
George on a step back.
Ball. He's got 11. First in double figures for OKC and a 6-point lead. Cunningham, or rather,
those shots when you get those open looks like that. So good to see Keith, who's had 2 consecutive 20-point games.
Knocks it down.
Good job keeping Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony out of the game. It's just 3 games in 4 nights as Paul George
in a career high from downtown.
Yeah, I'll see how fast he got rid of that.
George with the pull-up over Crowder.
One and the same. Carmelo can make it a hat trick here. George weaving in, trying to get open. He does.
Punishing strain by Adams.
The best record in the NBA, so they have home court throughout the playoffs, but they have continued to play hard, and they've continued to try to win games, and not really resting players as Paul George steps back.
Paul George from deep. George, the handles.
Saw that in the 4th quarter, an unstoppable spin move by Donovan Mitchell.
Jazz up by 1. George to Jay.
3rd. George's 3 is good.
A 50-50 win for Felton, and here comes the Thunder running again. George set his 6th triple of the ball game. 28 points on the night. George
forced the defense to work. And Oklahoma City's got to get some stops here. It's too easy for
Russell Westbrook.
Then he goes right at Matthews.
Oklahoma City has no offensive rebounds. They've been the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. George off balance. It goes! Andre Robertson taking it to the rim. The jumper for George. He was
his candidate, I think, for Rookie of the Year.
I know it's a 2-man race.
George fouled at the 3-point line. Count it! Beal bidding for the steal. Squares up. George crossing over, feeding Grant.
Over to Jeremy Grant. Thunder have really locked off everybody else. What kind of dribble was that?
What a play! What a play! And 1!
This is sick. Oh, come on, man. Oh, come on, man. Wow.
Danny Green is a terrific defender, too.
Absolutely.